My friends, it is time to celebrate because the most boring international break ever is finally over and club football is back. Manchester United are back. However, surprise, surprise, Erik ten Hag actually has a slight problem at the moment because once again, United are missing a few players through injury. Someone like Christian Eriksen, for example, who has been very important recently, is out of the side. So today we're going to look at how Erik ten Hag can set up in the short term to get the best results, but also play much better football. So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFifa.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFifa for 10% off when you order. So before we look at what Erik ten Hag should do, we first need to look at what he was doing. And this is the starting 11 in that game against Copenhagen. Now yes, Manchester United lost that game in terrible fashion. However, the first 45 minutes, I think most would argue, was United's best so far this season. So this was the lineup which Erik ten Hag was using. So I just want to keep this in mind as we go over to a tactical board and try and build our own starting 11. We've got Wan-Bissaka at right back, Dalot at left back, Eriksen McTominay double pivot, Marcus Rashford on the right wing. So we're going to try and keep some of these principles in the side. So let's move over to the tactical board and come up with a starting 11. First of all, we're going to go Onana in goal. And while we can, we're going to keep the same fullbacks, Aaron Wan-Bissaka and also Diogo Dalot. This isn't something which Ten Hag has been able to do too much this season. I mean, just 3 days after that Copenhagen game, Wan-Bissaka missed a game through illness. I want to finally see some consistency in the back line. Harry Maguire is going to continue at right centre-back because I think he's been brilliant for United recently, so he's going to play there. And of course we have the returning Luke Shaw. The other day I spoke about the impact of him returning to the side. I said in that video I would probably play him at left-back. However, I've changed my mind and now decided I think I would go for him at left centre-back. We're going to keep Bruno Fernandes as our attacking midfielder because that's his best role. And we're also going to keep Rashford on the right wing and Garnacho on the left wing. Because again, it's about consistency. We saw this trio against Copenhagen, but also against Luton. Let's continue it into the next game as well. And ideally, if possible, if he's fit, let's get Rasmus Højlund in the side up front. Is he fit? Is he available? I'm not too sure. He's supposedly facing a late fitness test to decide whether or not he can play. But that is what I would go for. The question is, what do we now need in our double pivot in midfield? Well, before we get onto that, I think we need to look at how this defence would actually set up in possession, or perhaps how it should set up in possession. And for me, there is quite a natural shape which we could see here. Luke Shaw, left-footed, left centre-back, who is traditionally a left-back. In possession, is going to want to step into this sort of position here, into a back three. Harry Maguire playing as the middle centre-back, a job he's done very, very well recently. Wan-Bissaka, being a more defensive-minded player, naturally now tucks in as our right-sided centre-back. Now if we move Diogo Dalot from left-back inverted into midfield, instantly we have quite a nice structure and quite a nice setup here if you ask me. We've got Luke Shaw playing in a pretty natural area, same for Maguire. Wan-Bissaka perhaps isn't ideal for deep progression, but you know, we're just kind of making do at the moment because of what we've got available. But I think what we would see with these deep players is improved possession, particularly with someone like Luke Shaw. I'm not going to go too in-depth with this, but we know that having a left footer kind of massively improves the passing angles, passing to someone like Garnacho up the line, but also the ability to get the ball through the lines into someone higher up in midfield, the ability to play into these areas. We know what Luke Shaw is going to bring to the side. We also know that in deeper phases, he's more press resistant. So hopefully, we can actually see United trying to move the ball out from the back for a change, which would be quite nice, wouldn't it? Rather than just lumping it long all the time. So that's definitely something which I think we need to consider. The fact that we will most likely build with a back three with Dalot inverting. So what do we need next to him? Well, we can't go Casemiro because he's out injured. We can't go Christian Eriksen because he's out injured. Kobe Mainoo returning? Probably not straight into the starting 11, so I wouldn't go for him just yet. How about we go for the two midfielders which Erik ten Hag signed in the summer? Sofian Amrabat and Mason Mount. I've got Bruno Fernandes the wrong side here. Like this. A 3-2-4-1 shape, or even a 3-box-3 shape, which could allow Erik ten Hag to play much better football with this side. Now, yes, this right-hand side still doesn't scream press resistance with Harry Maguire and Wan-Bissaka in particular. However, I think down the left-hand side with Shaw, Dalot, who's quite two-footed, Mason Mount moving into these positions, Garnacho, I think we've got a lot of potential for real good ball progression on the floor. You know, Mason Mount isn't a player who constantly wants to go long. Diogo Dalot and Amrabat are players which want to keep the ball on the floor, not constantly just pinging it in behind. So I think this is a way in which we can also push Bruno Fernandes further up the pitch, get him out of the way, so we actually build possession with a better shape. Now, in terms of what that shape would be, there's probably two main shapes that would be likely. Initially, perhaps when United are getting pressed, we could see a 2-4 shape, like this, where Dalot goes a little bit wider, Mason Mount's going to drop into this position, so United can use this shape initially to try and play out from the back. Again, we've now got Luke Shaw, so we should be able to play out from the back a bit better. Dalot again being technical from the left-hand side. Play out from the back with more natural players in this 2-4 shape, which again outnumbers most systems and keeps Bruno Fernandes high and out of the way a little bit. But then as we move forward, Mason Mount can now step a little bit higher, Dalot can come inside, and we can go like this. We can also go to a 2-3 shape. Wan-Bissaka could step here, Amrabat goes into the middle, Dalot drops a little bit deeper. We could also see rotations where Mason Mount drops deeper. Dalot's going to push a little bit further forward. We also know someone like Bruno Fernandes occasionally likes to drop in. But I think by going with this starting 11 and this sort of initial structure in possession, I think it gives United a lot of potential to control the ball much more. We've also got Marcus Rashford on the right-hand side, who I think has performed a bit better in the past 2 games playing in this position, but it also gets him closer to Bruno Fernandes again. I think those two have quite a good understanding, and a couple of seasons ago, those two linking up on the left-hand side was really effective for United. So why can't we see it again, but this time on the right-hand side? I also think with our fullbacks being deep, you know, Dalot and Wan-Bissaka, having someone like Bruno near Rashford, you know, Bruno will put that work in to get round him, allowing Rashford to come inside, and the same on the other side of the pitch as well. When Garnacho comes inside into this sort of position, Mason Mount is a player which will put the yards in to spin into these areas. I'd like to see Rasmus Højlund doing that as well, to be fair. Rather than always occupying the centre-backs in the middle, can he attack this space a little bit more between full-back and centre-back? Attack into this area, open up a position for something like Mason Mount. That's definitely something which we could see more of. And it's why I would go for this structure in possession. But I also think this lineup could help United out of possession as well. Now, the main reason that I think this lineup and these players in these positions could help United out of possession is because we have better wide defenders on the pitch. Now, what I've spoken about a few times is that United don't connect their fullback to the press. And the reason I think that is because Ten Hag doesn't trust the centre-backs defending wide areas. So let's say we've got Dalot here. If he goes super high and super aggressive when looking to press the ball, and this leaves typically perhaps Lisandro Martinez or Maguire or Lindelof covering a lot of space here, that's not ideal at all. However, having Luke Shaw there doing it, you know, a fullback defending wide areas, it makes a lot more sense. And it's the same for Wan-Bissaka on the other side. So I think we actually could see in the coming weeks, at times, United could go for a more aggressive pressing approach. Will they do that? I'm not too sure, we'll have to wait and see. But I genuinely think there's potential. Perhaps we could go, you know, someone like Garnacho is going to come inside like this. Dalot could go all the way, and then we're going to tie up in midfield, man-to-man, like so. Rashford's now only dealing with one player rather than 2 like he has in the past. And now United are man-for-man all over the pitch. If the ball does go to this player, Luke Shaw is a very capable wide 1-versus-1 defender because, you know, that's his job. But also Wan-Bissaka on the other side is very capable of doing this. And also, if the opposition go long, we know that Harry Maguire is brilliant in the air. Now, yes, the question would be, perhaps with this lineup, can United get on the second ball? Perhaps that's something we need to focus on. And depending what game United are playing in, we could see a personnel change. Perhaps Mason Mount comes out for McTominay against a team like Everton, where we know they're incredibly physical. Someone like Onana in midfield, Decore, perhaps you go for McTominay. We also aren't completely sure on the fitness of Rasmus Højlund, so it might be Martial. But again, I think this structure allows you to press even with these changes in the side, which is why it's definitely something which I think Erik ten Hag should consider. And it's why, with the current injury problems, you know, Christian Eriksen's still out, Kobe Mainu not fully back into the side yet, Casemiro out injured, who else have we got? We've got Johnny Evans out injured at the moment, Rafael Varane out of favour, we still haven't got Tyrell Malacia back, and we've still got problems in the forward line. I would go with this starting 11 because I think it gives Ten Hag the potential to play much better football, but still be a bit pragmatic at times, you know. There's still potential to rotate into different shapes here. We've spoke already, we can use a 2-4, a 3-2, a 2-3. This could even shape into a 3-1 if you wanted to, with McTominay pushing further forward. I think what it does is it gives Erik ten Hag the licence to do what he's been trying to do all season, really, kind of plugging holes here and there, but with a much better technical base for the team, a much better technical foundation, with that deep line, Luke Shaw being there, left-footed, being better on the ball, and also Amrabat and Mason Mount in midfield as well, to be fair, compared to someone like Scott McTominay. I think it gives United the platform to have a better technical side, which allows United to control the ball more, but also, as we've seen there, I also think it improves United from a defensive point of view. So this is actually the sort of structure, but also the lineup that I would like to see in the coming weeks. Will we see it? I'm not too sure. There is a decent chance because Ten Hag doesn't have too many options. I also don't necessarily think it's perfect for every single game. But certain games coming up, I would like to see this sort of structure. Even if Ten Hag wants to change the personnel, I would like to see this sort of idea where we're moving the left back inside into midfield when we are building the ball, like this. And again, you can choose McTominay, you can choose Mason Mount, it doesn't matter. But the philosophy needs to be this approach, getting the ball on the floor and actually playing football. That's my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Do you think this is a system we could see? Do you think it is something that Erik ten Hag will try? Let me know what you think. Also, before you go, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, turn notifications on, all of that stuff. Apart from that though, we are finished for today's video. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.